Hey everybody, it's OK Fixer. Since I don't have the parts for my engine, I'm going to start on my floor pans. I've pushed my chassis out and it's in front of the car. A couple of things I've done here is I got a hole punch and I made a whole bunch of holes, and I made a whole bunch of holes here also. But I think I have this wrong, because I think this is going to sit on the bottom here. It doesn't like to sit on the bottom though, it likes to sit right there. It really sits there nice because the holes match up and everything. But I think it sits on inside, because that way you have this as a kind of a tray that supports it. That's probably how it's going to be. So what I'm going to have to do is put this in the car and put a couple of sheet metal screws in it and then take it back out of the car once I get the chassis underneath it and figure out exactly where the bolt holes are. So it's going to be in and out a couple times to make sure and get the holes right. The jack points are pretty obvious. They have a little hole, so I zapped a sheet metal screw in there to hold it in place, and they go behind these two. So we're going to weld that in place first, and then we'll jack up the car, roll the chassis underneath it, get it situated where it's spot on, and then jack the chassis back up, and we'll put the pans on it and kind of adjust them a little bit and lay it down slowly, put a couple of screws in it, see that our bolts go in it, take the bolts back out, jack it back up, take this one off, and I'll probably weld it on the bottom, because that way the pan is sitting in there, and it's not hanging from underneath there, just hanging on the welds. It's got the whole purchase of that ledge. But in order for me to take advantage of these holes, it'll have to be upside down. Okay, let's weld that on. Okay, I've wanted to try out my new battery system here for welding, and you can see how I got that going. So let's give it a few shots and see what happens here. There you go. That's great. Got some great penetrating welds there. But I think I'm going to save this battery for my Volkswagen, and I think I'm going to use the Lincoln for the rest. Well, that felt good. Okay, I have 4 mounting spots right there, and they're all equal and even. So what I'm going to do now, as you can see, in order to do this, it completely come askew, and it started walking on me and stuff like that. So I'm going to reposition my boards so that I'm a couple inches away from the wheels. And then a big problem I had is my cart was too short, so I got a 2x6 underneath there and mounted both of them, and it worked right, but I need to position everything so it's correct again. Then once everything is correct, I should be able to jack it up. And I might throw a couple of sheetrock screws or a couple of screws down there or something like that in front of those wheels to keep anything from moving forward. So I've got the brakes on those, but you know, my yard kind of has a slight, yeah, and it wants to go down it. So we're going to jack this back up, get everything lined up right, jack it back up, and fit our floor pans, and put a couple of sheetrock screws or sheet metal screws in the floor pans in that back section on both of them. Then we'll jack it up and we will take those off and weld them, because I think I'm going to have to weld underneath. And then we'll refit them, throw a couple of sheetrock screws in along the edge of the tunnel where that'll be, as long as the bolts on the rockers go in there. And then we should be able to lift it off, roll the chassis off, and weld the floor pans in place. So it should be good. Well, that didn't work the way I wanted it to. It was too tight. So I set my tires as straight as I could so it'll just roll back and forth, and I'll be pretty close. So I've got my jacks positioned a whole lot better, and we rolled it forward, and I just stuck the floor pans in here just to have a look at them, and they seem to be a little tight here, and they seem to be a little tight right in this corner. If you see, this needs to go in just a little bit, and it's the same way on the other side. It needs to go in just a little bit. So I'm just going to do a little trim. I'm going to do a little trim here, and I'm going to do a little trim right here, so the thing just kind of fits in there a little better. I'm going to put a couple of self-tappers, one in the front, one right about there on both sides, and then I'm going to set the ends in there and see where they kind of like they might go in relation to where they came off, and we'll push the whole mess back underneath the car and see if things sort of line up. Well, I got things fitting relatively well, and put a couple of screws just to kind of hold them in place, and we'll push it underneath and see if our back holes here line up and some of these holes line up, and if they do, then we should be okay. And what I'll do is I'll pull these off, and I'll weld the bottoms of them, and then I'll put them right back on with the same sheet in the same holes, and they should be lined up the same way. You've got quite a bit of room there, back and forth and stuff. So let's slide this underneath the car. I'm gonna have to come this way a little bit. There we go. Now back. There she is. We're a little askew here, aren't we? Certainly are. Let's bump that to the side a little bit. Yeah, let's see here. See how close we are. We're not bad. Pretty close. Pull that out of the way. Oh, I took my shifter off too. It was getting hung up. So I took that off. Off quite a bit, aren't we? Okay, let's see if I can kind of... I'll have to come forward a little bit. And let's shove the body over a little bit. See if we can do that. creating too much turmoil. It really doesn't like being shoved around. Kind of teetery. Okay, let me kind of shove this around a little bit, and I'll come back to you. So I've got this alidine in there, and then I've got them two alidines in there, and then these two alidines are real close. I guess I can let this down, huh? And then there's the hole for the alidine right there. So there's the other one right there. So we're pretty close. Come forward just a little bit. But this alidine here, I thought I was going to be able to fix it. I can't fix that. There's nothing to fix. Hey, is all alidined. So I'm gonna have to buy another alidine. It'll make it easy actually, because then I can just mount the alidine to the alidine and take the alidine off, and then just drive the whole thing up underneath there and mount the alidine on the alidine, weld it up. See? Can't tell what I was watching this weekend, eh? Oh my, no, don't do that to this. Oh no. Yeah, that looks like tetanus. Yeah, there is no fixing that. I might be able to scab the body onto the new rocker, but the rocker is just gone. Heat channel's gone on the side, so I'll have to get another one, but it'll make it easy because I can, yeah, without saying alidine, I won't do it. I think we'll jack this up and pull this chassis out now. Not quite as good as the battery. I like the battery better. Can't remember where I see Ichiban, I think. Ichiban Motors. Well, it's already started, lady. Don't hit the starter again. Okay, that's enough pictures of me burning wire. Anyways, that way that pan will sit on that, and it'll be, if I did it the other way around, I don't know how it should be. In my opinion, it should be that way. So that's the way I'm doing it. Okay, let's do the other one, and we'll weld them into the body, or into the chassis rather. Well, we're not too bad. Here's what I'm looking. I'm looking at this gap right here compared to the other one. That one's about 3/8, this one's 1/2 inch. That's okay, we got a drill. Structure is what I'm looking for. Yeah, you know. So get some more sheet metal screws and zap those down and touch those spots, and then once I get that, I can push it with a screwdriver and zap all those other little holes. And I've got all those holes put in there, and we can plug weld all that. And my God, there must be 100 welds in there, so it ought to be plenty strong, just like the other one. Yeah, coming along. Okay. Well, it's enough for today. I'm going to get the welder out tomorrow, whack at it. But you won't know the difference. I'm putting a weld about 1 every inch or 1.5 inches or so, and I've got sheet metal screws holding it down, and you know, I'll do 3 or 4, and then I'll skip a few inches and do 3 or 4, and I'll skip a few inches and do 3 or 4, and see, that way it doesn't get the tunnel really good and hot, and it doesn't cook up your, it won't, you know, catch your original padding on fire too badly. And what the hell is that in there? Let me get something to dig that out. Okay, I have the feed fairly high and the heat fairly low on my little Lincoln 125. This is not on the bottle, so I do have a 140 is capable of a bottle, but this is a nice little welder. I bought it for $200 used, which ain't too bad. I'd like to have one on the bottle. They wouldn't have such spattery welds. But I'm just using some Harbor Freight stuff. This stuff. And it seems to work pretty good. When you weld, okay, the reason why I have the heat high and the feed low is when I go in here, I'm going to hit this tunnel first. See, I'm going to go directly in that hole that I punched, and I'm going to hit that tunnel. And I'm going to get that tunnel nice and hot, nice and penetrated. And then I'm going to come out. And that's all I do to spot weld them. And if you burn around it a little bit, you just add a little bit more metal in there, and it's fine. They don't look pretty, but structurally they're pretty sound. They're pretty good. So let's get welding on this, and I'll do a few. I know you don't want to see all that, and then I'll do the rest by myself. Now that's funny. beautiful. Now I'm going to move down a little bit, probably like down here, and that way it'll keep that tunnel from getting too hot. Let me finish this up and we'll show you what we do next. Well, when you're all finished with your giant booger welds, take your wire wheel and give them a little wut-fur. You brush the debris out of the way. Then you want to get some brown 25 or some seam sealer. I won't tell you what I'm using because they'd probably sue me because I'm using it on my channel, so I won't tell you. But this is the exact same stuff as the trim seal. Body seam sealer, only it's available at big box stores for about $3 a tube. Alright, you're going to go around this like that and then give her a smoothing with your rubber glove. Okay, you've got all your brown 25 on, and now I'm just going to shoot a little. Oh, that's nice. Uh-oh. Oh my goodness, look at that. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's just glorious. That's great. Okay, so you give her a little whoop-de-doo of some enamel. And so let me get that done and we'll have a look. Okay, that's just fantastic. We need to do a little sweepage cut on it. But yeah, it should be fine. I just sprayed a little enamel on there because we get some dew in the morning and it keeps things from rusting. Probably I'm going to scuff this whole thing up and paint it with some really thick, heavy Rust-Oleum with a brush. Also, I'm going to get, once it's in the garage and I can lay down without getting filled up with chiggers, get up underneath there, and I will also seal up underneath. That way you've got a seal on the top, seal on the bottom, and there no water will go up in there, no moisture will go up in there. And you can paint the bottom as well. So there you go. That's how I do floor pans. So I hope this was a help. They're not real hard. You've got an 8mm bolt right here. So, or is it 10mm? Yeah, it's a 10mm bolt. But 10mm bolt in that, and there's a lot of slop there, so you can come and go this way or this way. Oh, geez, quarter, half of an inch, 3/8 of an inch, and still be on the hole. So we'll be fine. And even if we're not, we'll mount up the main holes, and we'll mark and we'll do a little drilling. And like I said, all I have to do is satisfy myself because I'm not doing this for anybody else. So I got something else to show you. As you recall, ODB still has my connecting rods, and it's 8 weeks now, 2 months. So 2 months is just ridiculous. So I bought these, and these are MPs. They're forged. They were pricey, but they're nice, and I can start with my engine then. They don't have any markings on them, but they say the tang goes down and the numbers go up. I can handle that. When they're setting, they'll be setting like that. So that means our next video, we can start working on the engine again. Yay! Yay! Okay, guys. See you later. Be careful. Have a good one. It's a beautiful morning out. Cooled down quite a bit here. What I want to talk to you all about is masks. and sports. And I've seen a couple of things the other day that really blew me away. Now, I've known forever how big a virus is, and I've known that those masks will not keep out the virus. I've watched people wear them with their nose off and their mouth covered. I've watched and seen 100 different kinds of masks. I've watched gaps in the masks. I've seen gaps in the masks. I've witnessed bandanas, shirts, any number of whatever face coverings. And that's okay. That's acceptable. Essentially, you could paint a mask on your face, and as long as it looked good, no one would know the difference. Because masks are not going to stop a virus. I don't care who you are or what you say. I know how big a virus is, and it's not going to stop a virus. You would need to be sealed completely with a filtered air pressurized into your sealed compartment and exiting through a filter in order to stop a virus. It would have to be some kind of underwater sea suit or something that you would dive in. Okay. It's just pathetic thinking that those masks are to stop a virus, and they're not. They are a visual aid because we are a visual people. That's the first thing that you do. You don't smell somebody, you don't taste them, you don't touch them, you don't hear them usually. You see them. Remember the five senses? You see them first. So it's a visual. And it's a visual of solidarity. It's a visual of compliance. Yes, I am complying. Yes, master. Or I could say, yes, masker. I watched excerpts from the Baltimore Ravens game the other day, and I've decided I am not watching sports anymore. I've seen football, basketball, and baseball ate up with this Black Lives Matter, capital Black Lives Matter. Remember, small Black Lives Matter letters, of course. Capital Black Lives Matter is an institution. It's a Marxist group of radicals who want to undermine America and what it stands for. Get on their website and look. Educate yourself, people. The NFL wasn't very happy because there are people on the sidelines not wearing masks. It wasn't the fact that they kneeled during the national anthem and stood during the black national anthem. It wasn't that they kneeled during the kickoff. You got 20-something guys out on the field in close proximity, exchanging sweat and bodily fluids, touching, pushing, shoving, jumping on each other, and then when they come off the field they have to wear a mask. What a load of crap. Also, another load of crap is not standing for the national anthem. Them subversive bastards, if they're not going to stand for their national anthem, I'm not going to buy another hat, another ticket, another shirt. I'm not entertaining them at all. I'm not even going to watch them on TV, which is an absolute shame, because sports is something that you can completely fall in love with. It's one of the last things that you can give your all in and not be hurt. But they found a way to hurt you. They found a way to take it away. Isn't that something?
You know, sports is one place you can go to a stadium and jump around with your face painted or your body painted in wacky clothes, screaming and yelling, and act like a kid. But you can't no longer, because they've made it political. I can't believe it. They're going to suffer so bad. They're going to suffer because everything in this world is market. Everything is the money. Depends on it. Those players aren't going to play just for giggles. Well, they might, but they're not going to make the kind of money they did before without the advertising. I don't get it. I seen the other day, too, our own hometown marching band in our school. They had masks on, but they had nose holes and mouth holes cut out so they could play their wind instruments. Now, how stupid is that? How just ridiculous is that? Masks. Masks and kneeling for the national anthem. Go to hell. Just pisses me off. Okay. Enjoy the rest of your day. I also want to add, I'm not wealthy. Okay, what you see are my achievements in life. You know, I mean, I am not wealthy. Okay, I don't own a vacation house or anything like that, and I'm still paying on this house. So, but what I have, I made it with these and God's help. Okay, I would not have what I have unless I worked hard. That being said, I want to tell you about capital BLM and Antifa and the likes of the kneelers and the forced mask wearers and you know the maskers and you know all the crap that makes America bad. Okay, all those people that want to tear down America. Let me tell you about them. Okay, there's a difference between them and me. Okay, them people, those people, that's not right English, correct English. Those people are unhappy, and they will never be happy. They will never be happy. Never be happy. They do not know the joy of a bird's nest in a gutter. They don't know the joy of a strawberry flower. They don't know the joy of the rising sun coming from the east. They do not know the joy of taking an automobile, an old piece of crap, and making it a running, driving car. A cool running, driving car. They don't know because it's how they were raised. And they were raised in a family that hated America and that pointed fingers at everybody and that taught them to hate America also. So, it's the difference between them and me. I'm happy. I know all those things. And if I was still a bum on the street, I would still have strawberry flowers, a sunrise, and a bird's nest in a gutter. I'd still be able to make light and be happy about those things. It's not money. These people will never be happy. And I generally am. And even if I was, you know, I mean, I don't have anything now, really, to say, you know, what I have to work for. It's all junk anyways. But what I'm saying is, those people will never be happy. Never. Never. So, when you bow to them and when you allow them to bow or take a knee at the football games, and when you still support them afterwards, and then when you kowtow to them about wearing masks, even though you know the facts, and when you give them special rights and money and freedom and privilege and all this stuff like that everybody else doesn't have, they're still going to be miserable. And you have been duped. Remember that. They will always be miserable. Always, no matter what you do to them or for them. They will always be miserable.
Now, there's one more thing I want to talk about, and that is about the debates. Now, today, it's an extremely left-leaning news source. God, what was it? Anyways, the name escapes me. They put out there that the Biden administration and Joe Biden, because of his age, is deathly afraid of the COVID virus. Now, there's a reason why that was put out there, and it was put out there to be heard, and it has to do with the debates. The debates are coming up in a couple of weeks, and it's been my contention that there will never be a debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Not in the sense that you and I know debates, mano a mano. And, even with left-leaning people giving the questions, it would be a Trump. Trump would trump that one. It's my belief that Joe Biden has the onset of Alzheimer's, and you can hear him in his speech and his talking, and everybody's playing it on the right, that is, of all the things. The other day, he didn't know where he was, headed to Florida, and his wife had to tell that they were traveling. And another aide stepped up and said, "We're going to Florida." And, he doesn't know where he is, and he's not cognizant. So having a debate with Donald Trump, it would be sad. Come on, man. It would be sad, man. Come on, man. That has always been my contention, that there will never be a debate. Now, as the debates come on, and this is my thought, what will happen? They will say, well, he has to do his in the basement because he's afraid of the COVID-19. And, and the Trump administration will go, well, we're not going to go do that. Okay, so, or there's another deal. He has to do it in the basement, or he has to do it somewhere. He can't do it with you guys. He can't do it in a public setting because of the COVID-19. He's afraid of catching the COVID-19. And on and on and on like that. So the answer from the Trump administration will be, well, we're not going to do a debate then like that. And then the next day the media will have Trump administration refuses to do debate with Biden. You see how this works? When you have the media and the willing accomplices in the media, anything is possible. They can say whatever they want to, just like Joseph Goebbels in World War II in Germany. You say a lie as much as you want, and pretty soon the people believe it. So it's always been my contention that there will never be a debate. And if there is a conventional debate, I would be shocked and awed if there would be, but there won't. Hide and watch. All right. See you guys later.